That's right. I'm tired of in my office, looking at tape all day.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with the inside linebacker position. Devin White, 5-year, started for you guys, is now gone. KJ Britt, probably was the first guy top of your list that will get the crack at it. What do you like about KJ, and what did he show you down the stretch, and even that Detroit game with 12 tackles?
Well, he's a serious dude. He's physical. He's kind of a throwback. He's a downhill linebacker. He got great instincts, know how to find the ball. He loves ball. He's serious. Every day he's early to the meetings. He does a good job studying, knowing the line adjustments, the stunts. He communicates. You ask D linemen, they like that. It helps them play faster. And he's a true pro. Just thinking about KJ, he's a pro. He loves football.
When you look at last year, you platooned he and Devin, used Devin in third downs and obvious passing situations. KJ was more of that early down kind of guy. Does KJ need to improve in pass coverage to stay on the field all 3 downs, or are you looking to use him in that role again and then find somebody else, whether it's JJ or Savasier, to be that third down guy to replace Devin in that role?
Well, anytime you're a Mike linebacker, you're more physical. You're better going forward. And what his job is going to be is prove to Todd I can be on the field all 3 downs. The height, weight, measurements, and all that stuff thrown out the window. Can you do it? That's when my job kicks in as far as getting him to understand his leverage and understanding the defense. But if you're a Mike linebacker, you got to prove to the coordinator, and, this is a passing league. You got to prove to him that I can stay on the field on third down.
What about with Savasier? I know he kind of is molded more along the likes of a Levante, but I know he did have those pretty stellar pass rush numbers from college, and then he also, had those interceptions in camp this past year. Where do you kind of see him fitting in? I mean, is he capable of playing the Mike role, or do you again have him more along the lines of what Levante does?
Well, where the league is, it's 11 personnel, so those 2 guys are interchangeable. You got to be able to play both spots. I train those guys. They got it. The whole room, you got to know both spots if you want to make this team and you want to play. He's more athletic, like a Levante David. He's cerebral in the pass game. He does a good job. He did your study. He was a great blitzer in college. He does have a knack at rushing the passer, but it's just competition time. He's going into year 2. It's always a big jump. Last year his head was spinning. He did start a game for us. He played well. He just got to keep taking that leap, and you got to prove to the coaching staff that you want to play.
Taking the leap, J.J. Russell started a game for you guys too. Did really well in that. He's a guy who's been kind of working behind the scenes. But what do you see from him? Is he firmly in this mix too, or obviously a special teams ace as well?
Oh, absolutely. If you in this room, every day you go out there, you audition for a time. He stepped up for us big time last year. I don't know if you guys remember. KJ got hurt early. We had to throw a DB in there, and he did a good job just communicating. And that's what you want. You want those guys to be able to communicate, don't miss a beat. And the guys, the starters, the old guys, they demand that from you. So them guys got to be ready when your name is called. He did a great job for us. And he's a pro guy. He was ready. And last year was year 2. And I seen that big jump from him in training camp last year. He just had a better training camp, better practices, better meeting rooms, everything. He's a married man. I think his wife is, study.
He had a great preseason too.
Absolutely. He graded out well. He did a good job for us, and I just like where we're at.
What area does this defense need to take a step forward as a whole?
We're looking at all the numbers. Pass and defense, we got to do better, and that's just not on DBs to go hand to hand. Those who are rushing, linebackers underneath, but we definitely got to improve in that area. We did well with the points, takeaways. We just got to get off the field more always, but we want to be dominant. I look at it, we want to be a top 5 defense. You want to win games. You want to shut guys out no matter what. We got to be able to respond. If it's offense not rolling, we got to take the ball away. Offense rolling, we got to still take the ball away. But we got to just be dominant. We want to be a force to be reckoned with and have you guys talking about us more.
What did you like about basketball state?
He's physical. He's nasty. He plays our style. Him and Tykee, Georgia, Alabama, them guys, they got to be smart. You better be physical or you're not going to play at those universities. But I loved his play, loved his interview, and once you see, when you guys get around him, you're going to tell what I'm talking about.
Speaking of Tykee, I know there were the interceptions. That's certainly something to get excited about. But what does he give you at the nickel position that maybe you have lacked?
He's a little more, he can cover, probably more savvy, more cornerish. Even though now that position is turning, you got to be able to be a safety and nickel now because so much 11 personnel. You got to be included in the run game. A lot of teams blitz their nickels as we do, so he got to be able to cover and make tackles in the box. But he's a physical guy. Just watch the tape. We're gonna be well pleased with him. He's gonna come in here. He's gonna be a pro. Just going to Georgia, transferring from West Virginia, you got to earn it. And as long as he keep that same mentality, he'll be just fine.
Carlton and Jamel Dean missed a lot of time, obviously injured last year. Is there enough depth there now that Carlton is gone?
There's never enough depth in the back end, never. And like you said, those guys are more prone to soft tissue injuries, hamstrings and groins, so you can't get enough depth. And a lot of those guys, the more you can do. And you're just looking for an opportunity, so it's going to be important for those guys to learn multiple positions for us.
You guys didn't draft any inside linebackers. You brought in 3, and then drafted free agency. Just what did you see out of guys like Kalen DeLoach, Greer, and Peterson Jr. that you guys brought in to compete for spots?
Kalen's more, the modern-day linebacker. He's athletic. He's fast. He jumps off the tape. It's a weird draft. Sometimes you watch those guys, you just know they're going to get drafted. He didn't. I know he's going to come in here with a chip, but he's physical. He likes to play. Florida State had a good defense. I got to look at him a little bit. The other kid from Arkansas, I know he's a UCF kid. He came here on a pro day. I never watched his tape. Then after the pro day, we met upstairs, and I looked at his film. He's a physical guy, and I was glad that we got him.
He was prolific and productive in college, but he's probably 5'11", 210.
Right.
Can he be an NFL linebacker at that size?
Oh, absolutely. He can today, yeah. And, I told him Levante's around 220, so he's naturally the next few years, I can speak from my own experience, you're going to start gradually you're going to put on that weight. But as long as he give us some of those special teams, and I tell them young guys, that special team coach better love you. He better love you because you're going to need him to fight for you to make this team.
Is that a size where, like, at undersized, where you can use them not just at linebacker, but a variety of different roles? Maybe that big nickel linebacker who's got the speed and everything. Would you envision, like, obviously got to make the team first, but is that something that you can use a guy who's at that size now in the game?
Right. If you can cover tight ends and running backs and you can show bowls, you can do a lot, especially on third down. We'll create a package for you. And when it's coming to the size, I tell them guys, it's a mindset. You don't need to be bulking up. I had to tell Savasi, hey, stay at your weight, stay where you're comfortable at. It's all about technique and a mindset when you're fighting in the trenches with them big guys. So, 210, yeah, we want about 215, 220, but he'll be just fine. If he's physical, there'll be a spot for him on this team.
With Tykee coming in, do you think of Izzy in as much as a safety as a nickel? Where does his future lie?
Competition, all those guys. You got to be able to play both nickel, safety, even sometimes corner, some boundary stuff. It's going to be competition. I just know when I'm looking at that room, what we did even with Tavier Thomas in the free agency, our special team's going to be better, and we're going to have a lot of depth at that spot.
When you look at your starting corners, there has not been any of those guys that had more than 2 picks. Carlton had 4 back in the Super Bowl season. Last year, Dean had none. Jamel was injured a little bit. Zion had none. He played more cornerback for you than anybody. Carlton had. Is that a position where Zion and Jamel just have to get their hands on more passes and make them off for you?
Well, it depends who you ask. Me personally, I believe if you can catch, the good Lord gave you that coming out the womb. But some say you got to work on it. You got to work on it. We definitely, the old saying, that's probably why them guys play defense. But yes, we need more interceptions. up front, help them out, have a quarterback throw a wobbly ball or stuff like that. But yes, we're stressing more interceptions, and that position you want to be great and you want to increase your value, take the ball away.
Do you think the defense is going to start in the back end a little bit more zone? You had Dean and you had Davis, two of the best press man guys in the league, and last year you saw your guys played a lot more zone. Is that kind of like the trend going forward, or are you guys still going to mix it up?
What you think? You got some ideas?
That's the press man guys play the press man guys.
We gonna do everything. We gonna do everything. Depends how we forming, how we're gelling. We got a lot of new guys. How the communication going. Coach Bowles do a great job if we're gonna do what we do best. But we got a big package. Everyone knows that. When you study off-season projects, we vary from year to year sometimes. So we'll see how things are rolling.
You're going to have a lot of guys come in next week. Most are going to be undrafted, kind of invitees to the rookie camp. What's kind of the message you give these guys coming in, and how difficult is it for them to make that jump from being undrafted to make this roster going into training camp?
It's audition. Definitely a blessing getting the opportunity to come and be invited. I know a lot of those guys, you just talking to those free agent guys, their hearts are broke, they're disappointed, but you got an opportunity. I always share the story with James Harrison. He was cut 6 times, and mainly because of his size. But he was cut 6 times. He wouldn't even had a career. A guy, Clark Higgins, broke his hand 2 days before training camp, and they called him for a camp body. And all she wrote from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.